You too.
Yeehaw. And we are live.
Nice. Hello.
Welcome, everyone. We are Chaotic Good. We are a live actual play team that has recently jumped ship from Pathfinder, and now we stream and play Open Legend. And so we're just a bunch of friends who just love rolling dice, and the reason we play Open Legend is because we like what we like. And so we're going to go ahead and get going on the adventure here. So we are right in the middle of the campaign. We're playing the Unwanted Campaign, which is on our YouTube channel. And we are in Season 2, and this begins Episode 3. So before we get started, we just have a couple little orders of business to do. One is I want to go quickly retweet our broadcast. And if anyone's with us right now and want to help us out, please give us a retweet. All right, so give me a sec here. Let me go dig it up. And there it is. Woohoo! All right, retweeting. All right, got that out of the way. Awesome, awesome. All right, and then the next order of business is Chaotic Good has a tradition. Anytime we kick off a day of gaming, we do so with a little salute to victory. So, gentlemen, to victory!
Victory!
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, well, let's just do a real quick recap to get started since we are on episode 3. And so I'm going to do something different this time. I'm going to go ahead and ask one of my party members to talk about what happened in the first episode. So, Ivandar, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you. So in about 60 seconds or less, I'm going to have you talk about what happened on episode 1. And then I'm going to go over to Sarah Kale, and if you'd be so kind, Sarah Kale, talk about the what happened in episode 2. Try to keep it to 60 seconds or less, just so we don't bog things down. And then we're going to jump in and start Adventure 3. Ivandar.
All right, well, everyone, welcome to Real Chaotic Goods, Adventures of Ivandar, with the rest of his party members. Way back in episode 1, Ivandar was doing his usual ministering to the poor and helping the weak, when his party came up to him and insisted that he go to the tavern where the Red Rose Tavern, where the Pirates Council was meeting. They said they couldn't understand anything if he didn't go along, so he said sure. So they followed him to the Red Rose Inn, where the Pirates Council was meeting. There seems to have been some problems with some hobgoblin ships. The hobgoblins were attacking the Pirate Council ships, even though there was an agreement with Nicodemus that they would not attack those ships. Well, they, of course, asked Ivandar to sit at the table, being the hero that he is, and he said he would. They asked him to sit in to make this an official Pirate Council meeting. And it's discovered that Nicodemus, the villain of the piece, is now in control of the hobgoblin ships. They contacted Nicodemus through a magical scrying mirror, and he reluctantly admitted that he had no idea what was going on. So they asked Ivandar to investigate. He decided to bring his friends with him because, he's generous like that. And they decided to go to the Plunder Island, where it seemed Nicodemus where he has his headquarters. Nicodemus has his headquarters there, and where something terrible has happened. Some kind of god beam has come down from the heavens and destroyed all life.
Cool.
Now it's time for Ivandar and his amazing friends to travel off and see if they can't save the world one last time.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well done, well done. All right, so you guys landed on the island, and then episode 2 happened. And Sarah Kale, that's your home where that island is. So I'm going to let you go ahead and describe what happened in that adventure real quick.
So when we landed on the island, we were trying to figure out that which was the best way to explore the island, since there was this deadly mist that seems to have killed all the life on the island. So what we did was we decided to go through the cove, and we ran into a group of lizardmen. After Sarah Cal, the great prognosticator that she is, went up and tamed the lizardmen, we got them to join us in a party and searching. We stopped by my house, and we saw my beautiful things like my mirror, my crystal ball, and my beautiful little undead bird, Tobin.
Nice.
And then we went to the Lizardman village to help them recover their totem. Now, that totem was needed so that they could attract females It was their bling so that they can get some more girls so they can expand the tribe once again. After gigantic fighting, and unfortunately our fat kid got lost in the mist, I found the totem and off we went with it.
Awesome. And you ended up working your way through the fog, and you found like the eye of the storm where this huge fog bank kind of let up, and you ended up coming to the center point of the island, which is where this god beam is, and it's on a big giant manor or mansion, if you will, which you know, Sarah Kale, to be Nicodemus's house, which looks something along the lines of this. So you see, oh yes, you all remember that, and you can see the god beam erupting right out of this house. But this manor, you can tell as you guys approach it and are on the outskirts of it, it has been around for quite some time, and it's taken a beating over the years, and it almost looks like it's abandoned. The image you get from the outside is, creaking shutters blowing in the wind. The wind blows, maybe even a tumbleweed goes by. It just feels very, very creepy, especially with this beam of energy pulsating out of it. And every once in a while, Fry has an actual pulse that happens and carries up the god beam into the sky. When you look around your surroundings, you look up into the sky, and you can see that the fog bank, the reason it has cleared is because it is actually lifted up into the sky and is making a swirling vortex, all of like Ghostbusters above you. You're expecting Zool to come down from the sky, and it's swirling into this god beam, and almost like a vortex or like a tornado, and it goes right down to the tip of that house right there. And of course, the house is so creepy looking, you could swear, you hear on the wind, kill, 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 kill.
I think they're talking to you, Von Stad.
Of course, after that, I'm not going in there. No way, I am not going in there. So there's Gobbledygook, your little goblin scout companion, sitting there with his knees buckling, nervous as all heck, just, looking at this house. I mean, he has his eyeballs that are already enlarged inside of his goggles. They look even more enlarged as he just like, and he's backing up, and he bumps into Bratz. No way, I ain't going in there. I tell you what else do. We still haven't eaten. I'm starving. What's wrong with you people? All right, so why don't I go ahead and turn the adventure over to the party and let you guys discuss how you're going to proceed.
So, Sarah Kale, have you ever been into this home before?
No, I have not. Nicodemus and I have an agreement. We do not cross each other's borders, as it were. So we would just keep ourselves apart, but I've been watching him for years.
And since you've been watching, do you know of any secret way into the home?
No, unfortunately, it is guarded. It was well guarded with hobgoblins before, but now this god's damn mist makes it almost impossible to have an army out there, so we may be able just to walk straight up.
True, but we also have a scout in either Gobbledygook or your thing on your shoulder there.
Beautiful Tobin.
Yes, the Tobin thing. See, there is a entrance to the basement.
Yes, take a second to describe Tobin there, Sarah Kale.
Tobin was a raven at one time until they mist came up, and unfortunately it killed my pretty bird. So although he doesn't attack us because he's basically undead now, he kind of does my beating. He's become my eyes again.
Yes, he's the medieval version of Roadkill.
All right. Well, while you guys are discussing things too, Gobbledygook, it just plopped down, and he's like going into his pack and pulling out iron rations and starting to eat. And he's just sitting there, and he looks. You've never seen him look so stubborn or afraid. He does not like this house.
Well, luckily, adventurers don't need to eat.
I'm a scout. Shut up, Ivandar.
So I'm thinking we should either send Tobin or Gobbledygook around the house, see if there is maybe another entrance, storm cellar type entrance where we can sneak in. If not, we will either check the windows or march in through the front door. Brax first.
And about this time, Brax has had enough, and he goes, enough talk, and starts heading towards the house.
Whoa.
He's heading to find his sworn enemy.
Oh, that's right.
All right.
Yeah, hey, Brax, you can talk a little bit out of character about this, but talk about your sworn enemy. Oh, we just lost Brax. Oh, bad timing. Okay, well, let's skip tracks here. Hopefully he reconnects. Do you see him?
Yes,
yeah, we all see him.
Okay, I see him now. Sorry, we lost him on the stream then. Oh, hey, Brax, do me a favor. No worries. You don't have to role play. You can do it out of character, but explain Brax and his relationship with the person who owns this house.
Brax at one time had actually found, for the first time, a very peaceful place to live where he actually felt accepted and not kind of more shunned as a half ogre would normally be. And for some reason, still unknown to Brax, Nicodemus showed up, declared he was cursed, and proceeded to not only kill everyone in the town, but also made Brax, for the time being, his little pet biatch, so to speak. So Brax has been waiting forever to get his hands around the throat of Nicodemus.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, this big giant half ogre, just literally just not listening to anything that Ivandar's saying, just stomps up to the front door. Boom, 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 boom. And what do you say, Brax?
I said, enough talk. And just heads to the door.
Nice. All right. Do you open the door? You
kick it open.
Oh my gosh! Well, when you're up on the front porch, you can see the door doesn't. It's just a regular door, and it just splinters open due to your mighty strength and just blows open. And you now can see inside of a house, but it is very dark right now. What is the rest of the party doing?
We are following Brax because once he starts, he doesn't stop, and someone's got to be there to keep the big guy out of trouble.
Okay, all right. So the party moves up and joins Brax, and you guys step into the house. Am I right?
Yeah, did Gobbledygook come?
He's sitting down there. He's still eating, dude. He's hungry.
Okay.
He just waits for you guys.
As soon as I pass him, I take some of his iron rations and just look at him and start laughing and eating away. Thank you for your hospitality.
He just gives you a dirty look as you walk into the house. Awesome. Okay, well, y'all step into the house, and then we almost kind of go in a way to almost like everything fading to black is the only way I can describe it, because there's like a gap, but everything just fades to black. And when I say black, I mean it.
Whoa. What the hell?
All right.
Hold. Darkness. Again? Why is it always darkness? Your eyes open. And you find yourself in a long hallway.
In an 8-bit game.
In an 8-bit game.
Sorry.
No, that's actually, that kind of stuff is encouraged. Legend point!
Thought I was playing Bard's Tale again.
What you see is a long hallway in darkness, extend about 100 feet straight ahead, opening up to a doorway that's open. Which is beyond the doorway, you can't tell. But what you see, though, is lit candelabras along both walls, the east and west walls, and they go down about halfway down the hallway. What would you like to do?
Can you go around the outside of the...
You're gonna so nothing's stopping Brax. So
right.
Okay, as Brax is marching forward, I look into the mug. Oh, let there be jovial light. And I just throw the entire contents on Brax's back, and he lights up with light. So I'm going to cast, invoke the light moon.
Okay. And so...
And we'll do it at... then never mind. I got to roll. Yes.
So
is there room to... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I lost I lost Brax on the stream again.
No, he's still there.
He's still there.
Darn it.
There he goes.
Yeah, Roll 20, by the way, everyone who's watching has been acting up. We're already noticing it's being very finicky tonight, so we do apologize if we cut out here and there. We're going to do our best to overcome it and not try to let it derail us. We'll fight through this. Okay. All right, so you're doing a creation roll at a DC 23, and I believe that'll give you 20 feet of light. So, Brax, you have about 20 feet of light glowing around you, and you're now lighting up this chamber. And so everyone else can see easily. The candles were putting on some light, but now it's much more lit. You can see the details of this hallway, and it almost looks like it's carved out of stone, and has I don't even know what they're called. Jeez, I'm mind blanking on the name. What are the things that hold up? Yeah, archways, but they hold up everything. They're the structures that actually make it sturdy, like when you're in a cave complex. What's the word?
Oh, God.
Oh, well. Whatever those things are.
Those things.
Yeah, those.
All of you watching, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, so it gives the hallway a rib look, in a sense. So you guys now have that in front of you. What would you like to do now?
Sorry, that hallway is ribbed for our safety.
Mm-hmm. And pleasure.
Sorry. Is there room to walk along the outside of the candles? Between the candles and the wall?
They are right up against the wall. And so you have about a 100-foot hallway now. The light, goes out 20 feet, then starts turning into dim light for another 20 feet. Plus, you can see beyond that there are lit candelabras.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna send Tobin to start running up forward for us to take a look at the other end of the hallway.
Okay, very good. All right, so you take a little Tobin, and he lets out a squeak, and then starts hopping on the ground because he pretty much can't fly because his wings have been damaged. So he hops like a chicken and flutters now and then. So he hops down, and you said you sent him to the end of the candelabras or all the way into the next, through the doorway?
To the end to where the door begins.
Okay, so he hops on down, and what you see as he hops down, you can see the candelabras are lit to a point, and where they're not lit, that right there, as soon as he walks up next to the next one that's not lit, both candelabras on both sides light up. And then now we have an additional candelabra on each side lit. He continues to hop and gets to the doorway and looks in and sees a large, almost like a foyer or a study. And your eyes, since you're looking through them, everyone can see Sarah Kale's eyes open up big. Like this. And the reason you open them up so big is because you see a chamber full of treasure. This is not Plunder Isle for nothing. I mean, it's almost
a good thing, not
blinding.
materialistic.
Yeah, oh yeah. You see works of art. You see armor sets. You see swords. You see gold. You see gems. But it's in a room well lit, and it looks almost like a study. I guess you would say maybe some kind of chamber. It's pretty big. You estimate it to be probably about 50 feet by 30 feet. So it's a pretty large room. What would you like to do?
Gentlemen, first, I'm assuming Sarah Kale explains what he sees. She sees.
That's assumed.
Okay, gentlemen. Treasure is kind of my forte. So, first rule of treasure is it's never left unguarded. So, let us take care walking up this hallway. This looks like a trap. So
what?
Yeah. And Brax, my friend, I know you want Nicodemus dead, and we want him dead just as much as you do. But charging forward and getting yourself killed before you get to him will do no one any good. So please, my friend, just wait a moment until we can make sure it's safe to go on. Please.
First rule of treasure room. This is my treasure room. Second rule of treasure room. This is my treasure room.
Okay, well, this will be a good time to find out what kind of weapons you guys are brandishing and if you're going to be casting any boons on each other. So I'll start with you, Von Stad.
Well, he's always brandishing Dark Harvest, the massive black-bladed greatsword on his back. And as he's admiring the pommel above his head, he, of course, takes one more swig of the ever-full mug.
Okay.
Oh, yes, he is delightfully refreshing. Perhaps you would all like a possum? And he just swings it around his head, showers everyone, and that is going to be Bolster Might 2.
Okay. So at the end of 6 seconds later, the light that's around Brax will fade out if you're going to maintain Bolster instead of light as your boon. Awesome. Brax, anything you're doing?
I'm casting Blind Sight.
Okay,
I'm blind.
Okay, cool. So Blind Sight for you is dark vision, so you are able now to see in the dark very clearly. Okay, Ivandar, anything? You don't do boons. Sarah Kale, what?
He's just gonna look gorgeous.
As he always does. In fact,
right.
let's see how gorgeous he is here.
Damn!
Nice.
Hey, that's a sexy human being right there.
That's right. All the candles are flowing towards him because he's so hot.
Awesome. All right, Sarah Kale, what kind of boons and are you going to be casting on the party?
So Sarah Kale closes her eyes, and light mist comes off of her. And it goes around and it surrounds each of the characters in the party so they have this pink glow about them. And that glow gives them life drain. So every time they do damage, they get half of the hit points back if they're hurt.
Very nice. Anything else?
No, not right now.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, you all, I take it, are going to continue on. Weapons brandished, buffs on, You're ready for combat. Nothing's going to take you off guard. Like I said, you continue down, and then where the last candelabra that was lit ended, another one lit up, and then you move past into a little bit of darkness, down through the rest of this chamber, and then go go basically up to that doorway so you can see and peer into the room beyond. So what you see, like I said, I've already described it. We have a large room full of plunder, and this is where all the plunder from all the pirate ships apparently is stocked, because there is wealth everywhere in this room. You also see that one large windowed area which lets light beam in also. The only other thing you see, though, which is very intriguing, is you come and you look and you see almost like a torture device. You would think it is like a rack. And that is right in the middle of the room. And you spot on the rack a being, a female, who is dressed in a robe, and she's shackled to it with some really just like insane-looking, horrific, some like magical shackles that you'd have to probably get a closer look to get more detail on them, but they're very large, and she's really bound heavily to this device. And beyond that, that's all you see initially. But what I'm going to do, though, real quickly is have the party make a perception check as a whole and see if we can see anything else. One other thing, too, over near that lit room, you see Gobbledygook, who looks and waves at you. Like that, and he's over there in that area, kind of near the window, and he's just sitting on the floor, but he sees you all and waves to you. So let's go ahead and get a perception check from everyone. We're going for a DC 15, and we'd like to see more successes than failures. All right, Brax starts out with a big whopping 10. Woohoo! Yeah, there we go. Von Stad hits it with an 18. Ivandar.
Nice.
Oh, no, that's a 14.
Oh, no.
Exploder.
Oh, Exploder. So we have a 2-2 tie.
Nice.
Okay, so with this one, what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and give you a success. What you also see is when you look at the window area, you almost see, it's hard to really explain, but you almost see a flash happen. Like there's the sunlight coming through in a natural, soft manner. You see dust particles filtering across. When all of a sudden you just see a little flicker, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. And I turn it over to you.
Metagaming.
What would you like to do, party?
Well, first, before we go in, I would like to check the archway and around the archway, see if there's any traps, anything mechanical, because I can't detect magic, but anything that we would step on, pit traps, poison dart traps, that kind of thing.
Very good. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Yeah.
I see everything.
Whoa.
Someone ate a tuna fish sandwich last week on that table.
Wow. What you do see with that perception check as you're looking for traps and stuff, you're feeling like what it is what you're hearing, not what you're seeing. You're hearing a sound of, but you can't account for it. You do not see any traps on the floor or anything in your way that looks detrimental, like pit traps, spike traps, arrow traps, any of that stuff, which you do have experience disarming.
Okay, so the sound that I hear, does it sound organic or mechanical, electrical?
More electrical. More
electric, like something electric buzzing or zapping.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
pretty much this sounds just like this. Because I'm so fucking good with these sound effects, you know.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds like someone going with their lips. So,
Move apart the curtain.
yeah. I tell the party that I hear the sound. It sounds maybe electrical, so be on their guard.
I'm gonna send out Tobin to take a look to that general direction sounds coming from.
Yep.
So he points you to the sound, and Tobin hops around and looks. So I'll let you go ahead and make a perception check for yourself because you're using his eyes. So you make your own perception check. I'm gonna fail and move the story forward. So what do we like to do, guys?
We're gonna go to the woman.
Okay, and like I said, you see her on a rack, bound. And does the whole party approach? I'm gonna guess they are. Okay,
yes,
so the whole party comes over to this female, and the first thing you notice is she turns her head and gazes at you and opens up her eyes, and her eyes glow gold. It's almost like a cat. The light from the light is going into her eyes, and it looks like a cat at night, but they're gold. And she blinks softly and slowly, and you could tell she's not doing well. She, like I said, she has these very mystical shackles on that look like they're definitely crafted from something unearthly, and her feet are shackled as well. Von Stad, you recognize the shackles.
I was about to ask.
Yes. In fact, you've seen the shackles before. And her gold eyes look at you specifically and blink slowly. And she just whispers out real softly, "Help me."
No, I'm feeling a bit randy right now. She's all shackled.
Well, the shackles you've seen come from your homeland. They have that, and you're very familiar with it because you know the incantation to unlock them. You spoke the words before in our very first adventure from this season when you had your amulet. You used that incantation to open up your amulet. So
do I recognize her as a being from the Outer Planes up north?
No, you do not. You've never seen her kind before. Brax, you have.
Has Brax? I was going to say.
Yes.
The other thing about the townspeople was they had very odd glowing gold eyes.
Yes, in fact, this is where Brax found peace. A real peaceful community took him in, and they all had gold eyes. And then, of course, Nicodemus came through and burned and killed them all. Mind controlled Brax the whole time, so Brax just sat there and liked it the whole time, and then walked away laughing and killed them all. But yes, this is the same. This is the same as the people from your original village 10 years ago. So on stop.
And if we remember, Nicodemus mentioned that as well, that he had found another. This must be her.
Right.
Well, there is a damsel in distress. Let's get her out of here.
I'm gonna approach and feign interest in the bindings.
Okay.
And just go over the bindings, and I'm whispering to myself. You just gibberish. It's all in the name of Kate and Kaylee in the play.
Okay.
So, and as I'm doing so, I take out the mug of deliciousness.
Caden's mug. Caden Kaylee!
And as I'm thinking about it in my mind, I'm just thinking, how can I spice up and make this more festive? It's all about festivities.
Okay.
So I'm looking through these bindings. What are they made out of?
Oh, they're made out of material from another realm. You know, it's a medical. They have arcane markings on them, but they're very diabolical. And there's spikes on them. And you could even see that probably spikes are digging into her flesh potentially to hold her in place. And they're very large, they're very thick armbands, and on her legs as well.
Okay, I'm going to lean close to her and whisper in her ear only so she could hear. The blessings of the great reveler will set you free as long as, of course, you recognize your savior is not who bound you. Sins. And as I was going over and looking at your current predicament, and we'll just kind of loosen these bindings. Would someone grab a hold her like her legs over there and undo those bindings? And I look over to Ivandar and kind of nod over.
When you speak those strange words, what happens? What does the party see?
They don't see anything. The very first thing they smell is the overwhelming faint. It's faint, but it is overwhelming. Smell of roses. Delicious, scented roses. The kind, of course, that you would find at a funeral. So, as he's gesturing over to Ivandar, and Ivandar, put your hands just on those shackles.
Just to back up time a little bit, as you were speaking those words, there was one manifestation that the party did see. Your amulet would vibrate. It would just like bzzz, bzzz, bzzz. Each time he went and spoke those strange words, the amulet did pulse. You also could see a little bit of something erupting out of Von Staub, but I would rather have him tell you.
Oh, there's so many layers to this onion. so many layers. As this whole ritual, if you will, he's makes it about 2 minutes, and he's interjecting these very strange guttural words. And after the smell of roses, maybe about 3 or 4 verses in, you look at his robe. And his robe is almost like it was living sand, or his coat, his red coat. And its sand is shifting down. Remember, like the best way I can describe it is those doors in Diablo. Those sandy doors is when the sand falls, they just disappear. And then as soon as he's done with his verse, it looks like Von Staub. And he leans in, strokes her hair, and the shackles. And then you smell the just overwhelming scent of death.
So that was amazing. That was quite amazing. So all of that wonderful description absolutely earns a legend point! Nice. So there was one inaccuracy, though, is that the shackles do not open when you speak the words. So
soft?
Yeah, so Ivandar, you go over and check the foot shackles, and they're still bound.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to release the chains. Instead of releasing the shackles, she's being stretched by a rack. I'm going to release those chains so at least she's not being stretched anymore. She might still be bound, but she's not going to be in agony by being yanked apart.
That sounds great. Okay, let's see how well you do with that. I'm going to have you make let's do a learning check, because that's what you know about traps. It's your knowledge. So make a learning check and give me a DC 15. Let's see how well you do on easing her discomfort. Meanwhile, she is still shackled and looks at you, Von Staub. And well done. Yes, you're able to ease the pressure on her. You can see it actually helps her and relieves her, and she's able to speak a little more comfortably. So she looks over at you, Von Staub, and says, "No, those words." And she points next to her that she's lying to is a plaque, and on the plaque it has a metal face, and there are words inscribed. Now, everyone who's looking at these words don't recognize a language, but you can tell just by the way the characters are written that this is a dark, dark language. And she points and says, "You must read those words." And Von Staub, you look, and of course you do know how to read that language. You're familiar with dark speech. And you look and read over this litany of words, and you see that it's it is some type of unbinding ritual, but man, it feels like overkill because it's really asking and calling on entities and powers from places that you know, and it doesn't really quite make you comfortable that you got to go to this length and say something incantation of that level just to unlock shackles. What would you like to do?
Well, I look around. Do I notice anyone looking at me odd?
I don't know. How you guys looking at Von Stad after seeing all this stuff?
Well, that usual, because he's a little odd normally. I'm going to do a quick scan. Is there a key hanging up anywhere?
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, there's that. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Sarah Kale,
this huge demon ritual or a key.
Yeah, Sarah Kale and Brax in particular. Do either of you respond to what you've seen with Von Stad?
It doesn't bother me.
Brax more or less.
Forest for so long.
Okay.
I've seen some nasty.
Yeah, Brax we know is not phased by magic, so it doesn't. He doesn't care either way. He's just he's an ogre. So.
I see. I found the sanctuary city for otherworldly odd people.
We've known Von Stad long enough that realize that there is an onion, and we're just going to get the hard outside rind.
True, he is a complex individual.
Well, and I understand I've been remiss in divulging a small part of my previous endeavors in life before that which you see before you.
Yes, I'm sure you'll spring it on us at our worst possible moment.
I'll kill you.
We must push this button to save the world. I choose not to.
He dies. Everybody dies.
All right, cool. Well, moving forward, we have these words written in this dark speech, this huge incantation of extreme power and.
Does this incantation that I am reading to myself summon anything?
Potentially, yes. It's using energies from other worlds. In fact, it's using energies from what you would call the over there, and that's not a friendly place. So it's gonna make some fireworks. If you speak those words, this building here is gonna see some fun. It's gonna be awesome. I mentioned Ghostbusters. I might bring that up again. There's gonna be some craziness, but. She's trapped. What do you do?
I actually translate this in the best way I can as to what's going to happen. Well, it says here that fire, brimstone, and various colors of slime will come forth from the walls and coat. I'm sorry, that's wrong interpretation. This is not good. This is not good at all.
So about that time, Brax, you feel Gobbledygook come up behind you, and he kind of just like puts his hand on you, and he's kind of leaning around you because he always likes to hover around you, and he leans on there. I'd like you to make a perception check for me.
Perception. There we go.
Dang.
Oh, I'm killing the perception checks today.
This wasn't a 10 was your DC.
Man.
So you actually succeeded because this was just a really simple check. Brax, so you look down at Von Stad and, nod to him as, I'm sorry, not Von Stad, sorry, Gobbledygook. You look down and you see Gobbledygook there as he looks, and he's very interested in seeing what Von Stad's doing, and actually looks a little overeager, and he's jittery a little bit. And then the weird thing you do notice, though, is when you look at his left arm, you see your tattoo on his left arm.
On
Gobbledygook's left arm. On Gobbledygook's left arm. Yes.
Is the tattoo still on Brax? Or is it gone from Brax and on Gobbledygook?
It is still on Brax. And you see the same one.
So it's reproduced, not taken off. Okay.
Yes. So you see the same pattern on Gobbledygook. If you want to,
and he has not had this before.
You can, as far as you know, you would think no, but if you want to make a knowledge check, because that's what you know, and remember, feel free. This is an easy one, so make it DC 10. All right, learning? I'm sorry, learning. I'm going back to Pathfinder.
Learning. Oh.
Yeah.
I better do some exploding on this bad boy.
Yeah. This probably isn't your strength.
You don't learn nothing.
You don't learn nothing. So I'm going to have you fail and move the story forward. Would you like to do anything, say anything about this?
My Brax being Brax, he's gonna go up and just try and break the damn chains on the woman.
Well,
so
no, hang on. hang on. Before we start summoning demons and before we start breaking chains, we have the Tower of Power in Brax. Why do we have to do this here? Brax, pick up the table. Let's go.
All right.
Wow.
Let's take this someplace where we have 500 badass knights ready to back us up, and we'll break the chains, and if something shows up, we'll smash it.
Well, there's only one little wrinkle in your plan. The plaque is attached to the wall.
Actually, contraire, it's actually it's leaning against the wall, so it's its own plaque, which can be picked
I'm
up.
0 for 2.
That's
Jeez.
okay. Hey, no, you pointed out something. No, it's good. So, Brax, are you going to go ahead and heave-ho this thing?
This is not my house.
Sure.
Okay. You get under this buckets of ice, and you literally are able to lift it up and struggle and get under it, and you're doing like an atlas, with this thing over your shoulders and on your back, and you have it there, and you're struggling, but you can actually walk. It's like a bulky item to you, and you could actually get your way out when suddenly everyone hears simultaneously. I just lost Sarah Kale on the. Can you guys see Sarah Kale?
Nope.
Uh-oh.
He froze.
Great
on
face,
mine.
though.
Yeah. Oh, I just lost Brax, so yeah.
Brax is
No,
back.
I'm here.
Okay. Hopefully
You'll
Sarah
refresh
Kale.
in a second.
Okay, cool. Hopefully he'll refresh. Maybe we should type that into chat and just say refresh.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone. Roll20's being really finicky tonight. We're having people drop left and right, so hopefully it won't be all that bad. I probably won't wait much longer. We'll just move on.
Can we just sacrifice her?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Absolutely.
We pick her up and use her to smash the chains.
Nice. Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do then. Let's go ahead and we're going to take a quick minute, like 1 to 2, 3 minute break. And give a chance everyone to refresh your beverages, use facilities, and see if we can get Sarah Kale online. Ivandar, can you text Sarah Kale or call Sarah Kale and just get her to see if she can get reconnected?
Sure.
Awesome. All right, cool. I'm going to go do a refill. Guys, thank you for watching so far. Oh, Totally Nerdy's here. Whoa, Clay.
Oh, he's been on for a while.
Nice.
Oh, nice. And we got Josh here, too. I haven't looked up at the chat forever. Hello, my friends. Oh, it's great to see these guys. Yeah. Oh, quick break. This is going to be fast. We just want to get Sarah Kale back online because there's going to be a bomb drop about to happen. I don't want him to miss it or her. Okay, well, I'm going to go do a quick refill.
Oh, dear.
Be right back.
All right, Clay. Be happy I know shit. Because shit's about to hit that fan.
Yeah, we're still on. We lost you, so we're taking a break.
Dang.
Yep, and that's
Yeah.
where we lost you.
Cheers, Josh.
Case where you're laughing. So, and that's where you're
I'll be having whiskey later.
So, try reconnecting or whatever you got to do. You're the only one who dropped out.
These guys are doomed. Yeah, I was just about to deliver the goods, and all of a sudden I looked out and then we don't have freaking Sarah Kale. Damn.
By the way, I got to tell you, since we're on a break, I take the kids up to the Palm Springs Tramway, and this is a story of you've raised gamer kids. So we get up to the top of the mountain, and you know we're going down into the forest area, and normal I don't want to say normal kids, but most kids will be finding sticks. You know, this is a sword, this is a gun, this is a walking stick. The very first thing my 7-year-old says is, "Dad, that would be a great club for an ogre." And we walk a little further. "Dad, would a giant use that tree to smash an ogre?" And then we were
so
just
awesome.
finding orc camps, caves, and that's how it was the entire time. And I mean, like a proud dad, you know, some dads look at their kids with A's, some
You're
you know,
God,
get
am I
home
back
runs.
on?
I'm going ogre.
That's awesome. Hey,
That's
welcome
my
back.
boy. Yeah.
All right, we're back in biz. All right, let's
There
get
he
it going
is.
here. So, Sarah Kale, Brax lifted the big torture device. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm locked up now.
All right, I got
Can you hear
everybody.
me? All right.
Yeah, I see him.
Now I don't see Ivandar.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. I'm not even kidding. Oh, roll 20 in your check. Oh, yeah, I don't see Ivandar.
Oh man.
I see him.
You see
Hey,
him?
hey Neil, can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Mason, can you
I
hear
see
me?
Neil, but
I hear everybody and
Yeah.
see everybody.
hey,
Oh, now
reconnect,
I
Neil.
know.
Dave lost you.
I had a big hiccup where everything froze on the stream. There we go. Awesome. Woo, this is going to be a tough one, guys. I think it's Saturday night. We're right in peak time. So, all right. So, Neil, do we have you?
I hope so.
Yep, we do. Okay, here we go. Let's get this back going here. Why we still have all 5 cameras going. Yeah, God, thanks, Roll20. Okay, so Brax lifted this torture device up, and he can literally, like Atlas, get it on his shoulders. Stomp, 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 and he takes a couple steps when everyone can hear a voice reverberate through the whole chamber, even though you don't know where it's coming from. It's almost like an echo, and you were in a haunted house where you would look, and you would just hear this voice. And what you hear is, "This displeases me. I've had enough. Again,
Oh,
Red Room, do it again. This is not working." And then you hear another voice reverberate through the chamber. It has a southern drawl. It's like,
Huh?
"Now, I told you what you want to do is let me talk to my brother. All these tricks and stuff, you'll never get him to do it this way. You can't fool these guys. I told you. Let me talk to my brother." I don't think that's
Oh,
a good
boy.
idea.
Oh boy.
I don't like it, but very well. We will try it. Try it your way for once. Red Rill, again. And then you hear the southern voice go, "Now, you did erase their memories, right? Refresh their minds, reset them?" Everything starts fading to black as you hear a voice say, "Yes, of course. How dare you question me?" And everything fades to black.
So are we still here? Just everything's black?
Everything goes black. And then it goes,
Oh boy.
"Darkness,
Wait, don't we have dark vision?
darkness, again. Why is it always darkness?" And you open your eyes to a long hallway that is black, full of candelabras, with a
Oh, jeez.
doorway at the end. And you can see the candelabras extend down into the distance, about halfway down the hallway. You proceed down the hallway, and as you get to the end of the lit candelabras, another set of candelabras lights up. And you look behind you, and you can see all of the candelabras back to the beginning, and how many times you've gone through this game.
I'm out.
Grandma there.
I'll see you at the boat.
Yes. You proceed through and come to the doorway, and this time when you look through, you see something different. You see a tavern,
God.
very active, going on. It's the Red Rose, which you're familiar with. This is where the Pirate Council meets, and you can hear the piratey music going in the background. And let's see here if I can get that going here.
Parity.
I think that's it. Oh, no, that's not the one I want. Yeah, it is.
There we go.
All right, so you can hear the music in the background, and you guys are now in a tavern environment. You can see pirates all around. You see the tables, ales going. Now we're clearly in the realm where Von Stad is the most comfortable. And there you see the round, long table where Ivandar, you sat at the Pirate Council, and on that table is a mirror. And in the mirror, you can see a person standing in the mirror and looking back out at you all. And what you see is a gentleman in white robes with the symbol of Iomade on him. He has long black hair, and he sits there with his hands together like this, calmly looking, and sees you all there, and then lets a big grin go across his face. And you see Father Nidal.
I need a shower. Just looking at, I need a shower.
So he looks out across there, and he sees you all, and is all, now welcome y'all, come closer. And he looks over at Von Stad and says, Von Stad, my brother, I haven't seen you in ages. How have you been?
Nitty. See, my companions, this is Nitty. You may know him as Father Nidal, least of all father to nothing but unhappiness and misery.
Now praise Iomade, and I see you're still following your drunken god. Are you deep in your cups, my brother?
Oh, you have no idea. And pardon a moment.
Well, please introduce me to your companions.
Well, first off, I need to recognize I see you in your usual finery. Oh, doesn't he look dashing all? I bet you have a slew of followers following you in that gloriously awesomeness. Don't you? Well,
my congregations are standing room only. How are you?
What was that? What was that word? Congregation? What did he say? Congregation of miscreants and of malfeasance. No doubt.
A congregation is something you all would have nothing to know about, being that you worship in a tavern.
Oh, see, my friends, truth be told, Onidi and I had similar status under our previous employer. You see, within all faiths and pantheonic, I don't know, paradigms, if you will, lies harbingers of existence's end in this tale. And in this tale is the four horsemen of the apocalypse that will see to the end of all living things. And the man, well, I use that term lightly, but the man you see bedecked in finery, false finery nonetheless before you, he fell on the other side of that proverbial garden fence from light and darkness.
You know, your congregations might grow a bit more if you stop speaking gibberish. I can barely understand you.
One of us.
But you're being rude, brother. You're being rude. I'm going to have to go ahead and just, reach across and offer my hand of friendship to your friends and introduce myself. Hello, I am Father Nidal. And you are?
He extends his hand, and I put my arm out. I'd let everyone talk, but, they don't get near him.
I am Ivandar, hero of this tale.
And he looks over at Brax. And who are you, big guy?
The person that's gonna kill you.
Well, I thought Von Stad was rude. Now remember, you also are looking through a mirror. He's on the other side of a mirror, so unfortunately, you have to reach through the mirror to get him. But you still see this guy in front of you, and then he looks over at the witch.
I'll walk up to the mirror, put my hands on it as a gesture of greeting, and see if I can't mind dredge him.
Ooh, all right, go ahead. All right, mind dredge. You're going to go into his mind.
Trying to read his current thoughts.
Right.
Wow.
And that is going against his resolve, am I right?
It is going against resolve, correct.
Ooh, you got him. You got him. What you see is images of darkness and a land of fire and magma and death and screams and creatures that walk around And as you're going around, you literally see in this land this huge, like almost demonic being come by and stop and look at you. And you notice on his left arm he has a tribal pattern tattoo that looks just like Brax's. And he looks, and then the vision goes, and whoosh, you come back into your head. And Father Nidal's like, now, that's not nice, there, witch. That is most discourteous. I would appreciate if you stay out of my head in the future. So, another thing that happens too is in the inn is Gobbledygook. Gobbledygook comes over and comes behind Brax and kind of, again, gets behind him and kind of looks and is watching the conversation happen. Brax, you look down at Gobbledygook and he still has those tribal tattoos. Ivandar, why don't you make a perception check?
All right. There you go.
Yeah, that's 27. Yeah, you also see the tattoos as well, and you don't recall seeing them on his arms before, but there they are. And
Gobbledygook, this is interesting ink you have here. It's quite reminiscent of something I've seen before. When did you get this?
I've always had them. And he looks down at his arm and tries to rub on his arm a little bit. I've always had him. What are you talking about? And then Father Nidal steps in and is like, now. I need to be having words with my brother. But and then Gobbledygook starts stepping back deeper into the tavern.
I'm going to go ahead and grab the backpack, make sure he's not going to get away. Not violently, but let's just gently make sure he's not going to run off.
Well, he starts throwing a hissy. And he looks at Brax.
Brax will become lonely.
Brax, help!
Brax will become lonely without you. You might want to stay with him. He is your one and only thing that will protect you.
He's hurting me, Brax!
Because I certainly won't.
What do you do, Brax?
Brax is going to lumber over and what the hell? What's going on? Jesus.
Brax, my friend, have you noticed that Gobbledygook has some kind of tribal tattoo that quite matches your own that he did not have just a short time ago? What is this tattoo that you have?
Well, got no clue.
Alert as always.
Yeah. There's a shit, there's a creek, and I'm afraid we're all out of paddles.
I'm going to immobilize Gobbledygook because that pattern, isn't it similar to the one I just saw?
Yes, it is. Yeah, identical.
I'm going to immobilize Gobbledygook.
Yeah, incapacitate or immobilize?
Immobilize. We still want to be able to talk to him.
Okay. All right, go ahead. And make your attack. And what kind of attack is this? Is it entropy?
This is entropy.
Okay, describe what it looks like and as you're doing it.
So, underneath Gobbledygook, mist starts to come around and little hands come up and little vines start wrapping around his feet and up to his arms, up to his waist, around his arms to hold him in place.
Okay. And then on your Bane attack rolls a 14, which isn't quite high enough to get Gobbledygook, but I'm going to go ahead and let you succeed with a twist.
I'm sorry, I had advantage 2 on that too. I apologize.
Re-roll it. Re-roll it.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and you're lucky too.
That's better.
There we go. That's a little bit better.
So Gobbledygook gets bound up in your attack and is now immobilized. Brax, help me! Meanwhile, Father Nidal steps in and is like, now. And he looks over at Von Stad and he's like, now I did not come here to talk to you and try to lie, Von Stad. So I think we could actually just let go of our pleasantries and get rid of any falsities and just have an honest conversation.
The moment he says that, I whisper where he could hear me. If people around me could hear me, I just don't want to, of course, alarm the tavern goers. Srotza naidolumas. And as soon as I say that, where you saw the sand that was coming off the cloak, you now notice that his coat is made out of patchworked human flesh.
Whoa!
And then it goes back to his red fur trimmed coat.
And your amulet, of course, vibrates at the same time.
Oh, it's vibrating, and I'm holding on to it just smiling the ever so smiles.
Father Nidal reacts to that and then also speaks in the same language. And when he does it, though, all of a sudden, he actually goes on and it speaks about a good 3 sentences in a row of this foul language that almost burns everyone's ears. And you can see him getting angry, and you see tendrils of purple energy erupting out him as he's speaking. And you can see that his human form is actually being ripped apart as he's going into this language, because you don't see an amulet on him. He doesn't have his amulet. There's nothing vibrating. It's just all coming out of him as he's speaking this language. And what ends up happening is he ends up taking his true form as he speaks this dark language. No, 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 no. And what you see before you is a very dark, wizard-looking demon. As he speaks this language to Von Stad, and then stops, and everything simmers down, and his form comes back. And he looks around, he's like, oh, maybe we should try to maintain our composure, brother. Now, I need you to read the words on the plaque. I'm here to ask you, because if you don't, my brother, vile things are going to happen to your little shanty town. I promise you that. And then all of a sudden, stepping into the mirror is Nicodemus. Nicodemus steps in and apparently is with Father Nidal, and he's all, enough of this. I've had enough. Get to the point. Von Stad, we're done toying with you. We need you to speak the words on the plaque. Do so now. And he looks over at Ivandar. Pirate Lord, get your friend and companion to read the words, or else I will surely burn every one of your ships. Do it now. And then Father Nidal looks over. Now. We were going to try to do this a little more diplomatically, weren't we? And he's all, I'm tired of diplomacy.
If I may facilitate your cessation of diplomatic conjectures, inferences, and communication, allow me to impart my thoughts upon you and say your necessification bothers me not. End of dialogue.
Father Nidal looks over at Nicodemus and goes, he means no.
I look over at Nicodemus and said, if you know anything about either of these two brothers, you know that they're going to say a lot, but not say anything at all.
So I've noticed. Now.
And so they're still on the other side of the mirror, correct? They're not here?
That's right. They're across a mirror. That's right. And you can see the plaque on the table with those words in dark speech that they want Von Stad to speak. And Nidal says, I would have done it myself, but I was I had traveling I had to do, so I sent my medallion forth in my steed, hoping that Nicodemus could speak the word, but clearly he doesn't have a command of the language like you and I do. Now, unfortunately, though, he's gone and lost my amulet. And he looks over at him, and Nicodemus is like, and I would love to be getting it back. But if you would be so kind as to speak those words on that plaque, we can get on with this. Otherwise, your little shanty town will be destroyed, and your precious little tavern along with it, and we will sink every single one of your ships in your pirate fleet there, Pirate Lord. In which we will find something to do to you too.
As he's talking, I'm approaching the mirror with my great girth. And as soon as I get to the mirror, I turn around with my back to the mirror and block it out. So apparently what we're facing, as Nicodemus is talking behind me, what we're facing here is undue threats. How shall we proceed, my boon companions?
They can build another town.
So you see Nicodemus heating up. He's definitely getting frustrated, and he's
Is the mirror against the? Is it attached to the wall, or is it just on the wall?
It's got a stand, so it's like near the table.
Oh, and as he's getting all flustered, I'm going to take the mirror. Oh, pardon me. I'm going to turn it around, put it back on the stand facing the other way, so I can talk to my counterparts. He's just talking away.
Nice. Well, you can hear Nicodemus over on the mirror just be like, this isn't working at all. We must do it again. It's time to erase them. Send them back. We do it again. We find another way. We can't give up. Those words must be spoken. And he looks over at Gobbledygook. Redru, again. Gobbledygook turns around and looks, and he's like, yes, master. And then he looks over at Brax, you real quick, and then looks up at you, and you see him wink at you, Brax, and he blows you a kiss. And then his voice changes, and you hear him go, worm.
Oh, that bastard.
What do you do?
Oh, God. I'm stomping on his little tiny ass.
Very good. All right. Go ahead and make an attack. That's a might check.
I'm not kidding, dude. He just takes his big old size 18.
Boom. All right. Might check. You are bolstered too.
So, is it just a straight up might?
Yep.
So,
well, with bolster 2.
So I'm at an advantage just 2 or 3?
Well, are you going to go into rage?
So bolster 2, so advantage.
Are you going into rage?
I can at the drop of a hat.
So you want to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Describe your rage.
So, especially after I know who this is now.
Right. So describe your rage.
Well, after he pops up with his little worm bullshit comment, his eyes get about this big around, and you see nothing but anger across his face. And he's literally going to put his foot on top of his head and try and push him down through the floor into the dirt below.
Nice.
So,
awesome.
I mean, it's like the ultimate in curb stomps.
All right, make the roll. Make the roll.
So,
so you see Gobbledygook, who's immobilized, just take this friggin' kick, boom, and he ends up pounding against the floor, sending wood splintering everywhere, and then bounces back up, almost like one of those children's toys where you blew up the stuffed animal and punch him in the nose. Bam! And he takes massive amounts of damage, and of course what that does is the illusion drops. The in you're in goes away and disappears and just drops immediately. Unfortunately, the music stops.
No!
And you end up finding yourself back. You find yourself back in the chamber where all the loot was. The only difference this time, though, is you notice that the rack that Brax picked up is no longer there. But what is there this time, though, is the God Beam right in the middle of the chamber. In fact, it's sitting right in the middle of that disc on the ground, which appears to be some sort of device. And at this time, too, you realize that the God Beam isn't pointing up. It's not sending energy to the sky. It's taking energy from the sky downward in a pulse. And then you hear that noise, that pulsing sound that Ivandar heard before as it beats on this device, and is pounding on it. And now, since we had an attack, we're going to go to a little more tactical view of the situation here.
Uh-oh.
And I think it's time for everyone to roll initiative! Because Gobbledygook, his form has dropped, and you see your old friend there, Brax, Redru. Meanwhile, there's also the mirror, and you can still see Father Nidal and Nicodemus.
Well, I'm glad I at least got to give him a footprint.
Yeah. So the mirror is also right about here, and you can see the mirror there with Nidal and Nicodemus in the mirror, looking back and seeing Brax drop the illusion with that thunderous kick. So let's go ahead real quick, and what I need to do is go ahead and apply damage for that 45 attack first. So we were going at a guard of 20. So you did 25 points of damage to him. Oh my God. That was an exceptional hit. Boom. And hold on a sec here. Give me a sec. So yeah, like I said, you just fucking nailed him. So minus 25. Boom. You took a big chunk of his health. And when you do an exceptional hit like that, you're able to apply a Bane for free, Brax. What would you like to apply? We're getting a delay on Brax here.
We are going to go ahead and... Yeah, I don't know what...
Yeah, he's a little bit behind, it feels like.
Yeah,
there he
yeah.
goes.
Yeah, it's still got a little bit of lag. That's okay. We'll just have to make do.
Is
It
that
might be
better?
on our end. Yeah, it's just Roll 20's being a pain tonight. So we'll just make do. Don't worry
I'm
about it, Brax.
sorry.
Okay, so, well, he's already immobilized. With forceful, you're doing a might, so you're doing a forceful attack. Some typical Banes is you go, well, he's immobilized, so you can't knock him over or knock him aside. I believe you might be able to stun him, though.
Isn't he immobilized right
That's
now?
what I was
too?
going to go for. Stun. He's got stars floating around right now.
Okay, cool. Let me double check the Banes, though, on stun. So give me 1 sec here. Yeah, Banes. Yeah, it's a good idea, Brax, to know a couple Banes that your favorite Banes to use when you succeed like that, so it doesn't hold anything up. But that's okay, though.
Demoralize?
Oh, yeah, Demoralize. Do that. That's a good one.
Demoralized.
Demoralize. Awesome. And what level did he throw that at?
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
And Demoralize at power level 6.
I thought it was a Bane.
Yeah, that's okay. You applied the Bane. So he's got Demoralize 6 on him, which gives him disadvantage 2. So got that now. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here is add a token
Gotcha.
for his immobilization and his demoralization. So he's demoralized. He's demoralized and he's immobilized. And now
does he have a weapon?
Oh yeah. He has a huge two-handed katana. And the description of him, he has that red skin that you see. He's clearly a very big ogre mage. He has that tattoo that Brax has going down his arm, and he wears the Eastern armor. It's almost like it's like a form of plate mail. Yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah.
And then his pauldron is a big dragon, and he also has a third eye. His eyes glow red as well, and that's what he looks like there. Okay, so that was a surprise round because Brax dropped the boom on him. Then we went to initiative. So the difficulty of this adventure is going to be 17. And so Brax, what was everyone's initiative scores? How many people beat 17?
25.
All right. Hang on.
I don't think all of us have rolled it.
Okay.
Jesus, come on!
You're in the winner's bracket, Brax.
Good
Good.
spot.
I got a 10.
10. Okay, you're in the loser's bracket.
And I'm assuming we're all at full hit points, right?
That's right. If you had damage,
Okay.
don't forget to heal it.
Yeah. Sarah Kell, looks like your character has taken damage from the last adventure.
Yeah, go into your character sheet and adjust that, and that'll heal that. Because combat heals in open legend between fights, unless it's lethal damage. All right, Ivandar, what was your initiative, Ivandar?
35.
35. Okay, so in the winner's bracket, we have everyone but Sarah Kale. And let's go ahead and kick off round 1 of combat. Who's going first?
Oh, why not? As he turns around and sees this disgustingly red creature, he reaches into his pouch, pulls out a handful of shredded, various colored paper as confetti. Whee! Throws it all over. And because he's thinking this must be more festive. And he enters his festive battle trance.
Very good. Free action for that. Is that right?
It's reactionary trance. Correct.
Okay, cool. Oh, reactionary trance. So you go into your battle trance.
Well, it's free for me, and
Okay.
yes.
Bravo. And you have your full set of actions. What are you going to do? You got Red Roo right there in front of you, right next to Brax. He's immobilized.
yes.
He's demoralized. He's about to get a beat down.
Oh, yes. And as he's sauntering up, of course, he unlatches Dark Harvest.
Okay.
Full swing. And, of course, he's got his attention facing Brax. He's going
Okay.
to just... Oh, yes.
You have an additional advantage 1 for the flank that you have with Brax. And you're also bolstered. So go ahead.
Crying out loud.
Oh my God.
Yeah, bring down Dark Harvest, baby.
All right, let me just do that with advantage. I mean, let's see, it's...
Oh, Ben's online. Ben! And Rat's online. Hey, Rat. I got to look at chat more. I'm missing all
Yeah, I
this.
saw that. Hi, Ben.
DMing is difficult.
All right, that's with it. Shoot.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, but I didn't have the extra.
Oh, you're missing an advantage.
advantage, yeah.
It's up to you. Do you want the 46 or do you want to re-roll?
No, I'll take the 46.
Well, please describe how 26 points of damage just happened to this guy.
Oh, as you noticed, I'm on a table. And as he's standing on a table with his enormous girth, he will bring the dark harvest above his head and a joyous celebration.
Boom! Well, you just
right on top of the skull.
And it actually takes his helmet and shatters it. Bam! It goes flying, and you dive right into his skull and like cut down half his face, all the way down his body, breaking armor as you go. Tremendous blow. And if you look at his health bar, he staggers back. Oh, he's just been crushed 2 times in a row. Boom, boom, and we go back to the winner's bracket. Who's going?
Oh no, we don't.
What?
Did I succeed by 10?
Oh my goodness gracious! Yes, you did. I will. Sorry,
right.
my friend.
As he's coming down, because Great Harvest is so big, it caught his katana and on the edge, and he just flicked it and disarmed him.
Oh!
Right. Let's see. Let's put it right there.
Right there. All right.
Right on the other side.
Give me 1 sec here. I will grab me a little asset here. There we go.
Actually, let's go right there. 15 feet.
Okay.
And bring it one more south. One more south.
Let me. It's pretty big too. Right.
No,
there?
no, south, right
there. All right.
I don't want.
Yeah,
I don't want to
so his curved katana goes flying through the air as well, because you just cut through there and just literally blast it right through his arms. Bang! And it lands there. He looks over. He's already demoralized, immobilized, disarmed, and holding on for dear life. He wants to go because he really wants to throw a certain spell on someone and make the magic happen again. Who is going next out of the winner's bracket?
I will go ahead and go.
Okay, Ivandar, go for it.
Oh, Brax is going. Where Von Stad uppercutted, hit him, chunked him right in the head, and Brax is going to bring it right up into his nuts. Wow! His huge great ass.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Sorry, Ivandar, you got cut off because we have the lag with Brax. You guys overwalked each other, but God, that was a tremendous hit. Worthy of a legend, boy! Red Roo just literally gets cut from between his legs all the way through his head, divides into 2. Blood erupts out of him, and he slumps to the ground dead. Congratulations! Yes, you have avenged your earlier Braxworth incident.
Nice.
Could have been worse.
and he is dead. Meanwhile, in the mirror, you see Father Nidal and Nicodemus having very big concerns that looks on their faces. They're like,
I look over at them and go, next.
They look at each other back and forth. They're scrambling. I mean, they're totally befuddled. They don't even know what to say. There are no words.
If you're wondering what just happened, we win.
Oh, they're obviously irritated. And Nicodemus is just like, and as you can see, he's getting extremely flustered. And when he goes, "You'll pay for this dearly, pirate lord and friends. Oh, you will burn. You will burn." And then he says one last thing before he turns the scrying mirror off. He looks around in his chamber, and the one part of the chamber illusion that wasn't fake was the amount of plunder and treasure that's in here. And he looks around, and he looks around at all the stuff, and he's all, "Don't touch my stuff." And then it turns off. So wow, you guys took him out quick. Well done. And you have a whole chamber full of plunder and treasure at your hands. But before you guys get too crazy on it, something happens. You can see out of the windows in that one chamber that you're in. I'll get out of the tactical view and move you all into the original view here real quick of the chamber you're in. So you can see the God beam there pulsating still on there, and the light coming through those windows when you see what looks to be almost like a meteorite coming in from the sky, and it explodes right through all of those windows and just shatters them all. Lands on the ground in the superhero friggin' Marvel pose, one knee on the ground, one hand, looks up, and you see a female in plate mail armor with huge pauldrons rise. And then she takes humongous feathered wings and extends them out. She's human size. She looks human. She's hot and very attractive, but I mean, very powerful. Sword in her hand, shield at her side. And she looks over all of you and then can see the remains of Red Roo and looks down at that and gazes and gets an assessment of the situation. And she looks something like that. And then she looks at you all and just says,
I definitely would.
What has happened here? Where is he? And then she looks, and she looks down at the remains of Red Roo. And she looks at you all and says, oh, we lost Brax. I don't see Brax.
He's there.
Dang.
Can you hear us? Nope, he's gone.
There you go.
There he is.
Okay, we're back. Okay. Whew. All right. Well, she looks at Red Roo and then she looks at you all and has her shield and sword out. She hasn't put it down. She's still in a combat pose and says, "Who did this?" And she looks at Red Roo.
I believe we did.
You have done a good deed today. And she reaches, she sheathes her sword and brings out a strange-looking device, a geometrical device that looks like it has geometrical symbology on it, to where it's like almost like a 12-sided dice with stars in it. Looks something like that. And she pulls out the device and goes up to Red Roo's corpse, which is actually, if you look at it, is glowing with red energy. And she takes this device out, and you can see the red energy lift off the corpse and go into this device. As that occurs, you see the tattoo on his arm disappear. And she takes the device and stores it away. Meanwhile, you look in the broken windows. On the other side of the broken windows, you see a little goblin with iron rations. Hey! What'd I miss? What did I miss?
Damn, I was afraid I was going to have to sell Von Stad to get that angel to resurrect him.
So the angel creature looks up and says, "You have done good. You have done good." And then she approaches the god beam and looks at this device on the floor and looks down and just nods and goes, "So this is how they're doing it."
So how do we turn this off?
Oh, and she looks and points into the god beam itself. So you see this pulsating god beam going down. What you see inside of it, floating in there, is a crystal. It's an orange crystal. And she points and she goes, "They're using the power of dreamstones. They're trying to fracture the vault. This is a clever device. We were wondering how they were escaping, but now we know."
Vault?
Who are escaping?
These, and she points to the corpse.
Boy.
The Oni. They come from the land of Abaddon. They're demons. And somehow they've been escaping. I am a vault keeper. We are in charge of the vaults and making sure entities do not get into this world. And there have been, how should we say, leaks. And now we know how it's done because we've been detecting Oni in our realm. And she looks down at the corpse, "But you all have done a good deed and eliminated one of them. There are a few more that we must round up." And then she looks over at Brax. And you see her look up and down Brax's arm as Brax has the same tattoo that Oni had. And her eyes open up big.
Oh boy,
Oh, we're going to have to kill him.
Her hand goes to her pommel. And she's all, "Okay, where did you get that?" Oh, we got a huge
again. I don't know.
She looks and then pulls
Oh
out
my
that
God, I'm
device
sorry,
again.
guys.
That's okay, don't worry about it. She pulls out the device again, and it's not reacting. It's not activating. And then she looks back at you and says, "You are not from there, but I don't know."
No, Brax is a pure soul. He is a good ogre.
Good ogre. Good
has-
ogre.
He's a good man.
He does have that mark. I will need to report this.
Report all you wish, but no harm will come to him.
Well, if you want to help close this rift, remove the Dreamstone. It's that simple. They weren't able to speak the incantation necessary to activate the device, so the breach was not reached to its full potential.
Oh, that's all right. I could recite that. Could I have that plaque? I have the know-how.
I'm assuming in this study there's an end table or a shelf or something like that I can use.
Sure, there's just random items everywhere.
Gotcha. So I'm going to pick up a shelf board or an end table, and I'm just going to swing it through the god beam and smash that crystal right out of it.
Okay, cool. The crystal goes flying across the room. It's an orange crystal about yay big, and it comes out. The beam immediately stops and ceases, and everything becomes still.
I look at the Vault Keeper. Is this gem safe? Is it safe to touch, safe to handle, or should it be destroyed?
It is of this world. It is not for me to take. It is yours. And
Cool.
she turns around. I go back to report now, and she goes down Matrix style onto her knees, extends her wings, and flies right out of the window like a meteorite, and leaves you in a chamber full of plunder. All right, so how do you get this plunder out of here? What's your plan?
Wear it. Come on.
Brax?
Well, you have a boat.
We have a Brax.
And a Brax. Okay, cool.
The size of a boat.
All right, well, just to speed things up, you guys are able to take, it takes time, though, but you got to haul all this plunder over to your one-mass ship that Sarah Kale owns and fill this sucker overflowing, where you guys are literally like dragons lying on a pile of treasure. There's magic in there. You know there's enchanted stuff in there. You know there's...
Well, we're going to make sure... Yeah, we're going to go through it before we take it. We're going to separate it into the good stuff and the almost good stuff. Make sure we get...
So, Jim, I'll tell you right now, the good stuff fills the boat.
Okay, yeah, we're going to leave the copper pieces. We're taking the platinum pieces.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, you filled the boat full of treasure, and you make your way back home. And
I'm taking that gem.
You're taking the gem. Okay, cool.
Sarah, if you don't mind, do you mind if I take the Dreamstone?
Sure, I give it to Sarah Kell.
Thank you.
Very good.
I am
Sarah
trusting
Kale.
you with this.
Sarah Kale, did you make a pit stop at your home? Your mirror is there.
Yes, I need my mirror, and I need to get some little bits of scrap and some wire to put on Tobin so he doesn't scare the pirates.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Okay,
Yeah.
well, you hit the seas
You guys
and
mind?
you
Guys mind
hit
if I
back.
take it?
What, I'm sorry, go ahead, Bonstad.
Well, I was going to say, do you guys mind if I take the most powerful item in the ship?
Of course not. Well, you hit that. You hit the high seas. You end up coming back to Shantytown, into a familiar sight, and yes, here we are. We are back, and back at the Frothy Muck Tavern, in the interior, of course. Now, how do you secure all this plunder? Do you leave it on the boat?
Sure, let's just leave it out in the open.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was wondering.
Yeah.
So, where are you securing this humongous hoard of treasure you've been able to plunder from Plunder Isle?
I will secure it. I'm going to put up a barrier on the docks so that you can't walk by it after they go inside, and I'll stay with the ship.
Okay, very well.
Perhaps someone could cast an illusionificated illusion on it.
Well, Sarah Kale has something in place.
Beer on it.
Yeah, Gobbledygook's going with Brax. He wants to go get a drink. So you guys end up back at the Frothy Mug. We're coming to the end of the adventure here. You guys are all sitting around celebrating your success. Look what you've done. You went to investigate Plunder Isle, find out what's going on, learned about a lot of stuff in this adventure itself. It was a big reveal, and we're able to thwart their plans of opening up a rift to another realm, which could have obviously would have had bad endings. So you're all sitting around enjoying beverages around a table within the inn. Von Stad, real quick, not too long, give me a quick description of the interior of the inn, and your innkeeper's hanging out with you at the table too, enjoying a beverage too.
Actually, he's in the back when we arrive.
Uh-huh.
So we come in the inn, and of course it's the back half of the ship, as you can see on the picture, and the captain's quarters in the back is the balcony with the patio area, and that's where we're going to be. And of course, we don't have a serving wench anymore. So, well,
Casualties.
we'll just have to make do. So,
All right.
I'm going to call. But I'm going to call out to Ribeye. Ribeye, we need a round of refreshments. Everyone, I know you haven't met Ribeye. He has sort of a speech impediment. He was catching lobsters and one got caught in his nether regions. Ribeye, those beverages, and all you hear from the back, "Serving boss, I'm on my way." And it's this little gnome with it's a halfling, that's right, with a derby tilted forward, a vest with no shirt under, and an unlit cigar. I mean, looks mean. And then when he talks, "Here you go, guys," and he sets all the drinks out and goes in the back.
That's
and
fantastic.
sets down some some good bread, unleavened, good bread, some little veggies, and yeah.
Well, as he's setting down the bread on the table, and you all are enjoying a meal, and so you're going right into your cups immediately to celebrate your victory. Ivandar, your back is more towards the door, I would say, as far as where you're sitting on the table. And
you never sit with your back to the door.
You happen to this time because you're so relieved of the success you had. You never do that. You never do that, but this time you just happen to. It's really crazy when a shadow overtakes the table. And you realize there's a group of people that entered the tavern and approached the table, and you see this shadow go over onto the table here, and Ribeye looks up and goes, "Captain Kroll." And that's where we end the adventure.
Okay, hey, next time make it sound like real,
Oh, okay, you do it. I have to practice my Ribeye voice. And then that's awesome. Hey, real quick though, Sarah Kale, you staying behind at the boat and guarding the boat, is that a disadvantage you might have? What we call a flaw? Does that relate to any flaws?
Yes, she has a they call it a cosmetic deformity, but she may be a little bit undead.
A little bit. Oh, so you're staying back in town.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So you're kind of trying to hide out and stuff like that, and not join.
I don't want to rouse the town with pitchforks and torches.
Okay. All right, good deal. That's what I need to know. Okay, great, awesome, guys. Oh my God, that was so fun. And now I can actually look at chat again. Thank you, everyone who has joined us.
Oh yeah, thank you. That was awesome.
That was amazing. Amazing. Like I said, we
are toothless or screwed.
Yeah, we are Chaotic Good. We are an open legend team.
Thank you, amazing.
Yeah, Sarah Kale, what'd you have to say?
Von Stad wanted to do a shout out.
You go for it, Von Stad. Shout out.
For what?
Okay.
Wait. Oh no, shy. Oh, wait, what?
All right, never mind.
Fail.
If it was about the reference with my kids, everyone who actually spent time watching us hacks, thank you.
It wasn't. You told us a story last night that you wanted.
Yeah, I remember too. I just don't remember the details because we were playing Diablo doing riffs with beverages. All right, awesome. Well, again, thank you everyone for joining us. We had a blast.
Thanks everybody.
Yep, follow us on Real Chaotic Good on Twitter, and take care. We'll see you next time.
All right,
peace.
Yeah, follow us on Real Chaotic Good on Twitter.